Well, let's try this again. Good day, good day. Welcome to another episode of the Bobby Brown Show on the GO, the Bobby Brown Podcast. I'm gonna take that show off because I don't want things to seem like a show. I know you're saying, Robert, you're always changing up. Hey, change is always good. You got to keep it moving until you finally hit that area where you feel comfortable and sweet. So this will be known as the Bobby Brown Podcast. And today I'm going to talk about my point of view with this Kyle Rittenhouse case. As you can see, you got Kyle, you have his attorney, and you have his judge. You don't see the prosecutor. But it seems like they're one big family right here. Look like father, son, and grandpa. And the prosecution was the uncle. Let's get into this real quick, so just bear with me as I hit some things up. All right, so we're going to start here. Jury finds Rittenhouse not guilty in Kenosha shooting. So no matter what you think about the Kyle Rittenhouse case, mother relieved, AP wants me to pay, hugs and kisses, this son of a gun right here. Yo, I gotta say this. I've seen some lefty medias, and you know, I really don't appreciate people assuming things, because I try not to assume. I try not to assume with this case. When it comes to Rittenhouse, just like I'm not going to be assuming about this case with the brother who ran the car through the crowd, because you don't know the situation of the case. The brother was in hot pursuit by cops, and a lot of time the cops corner you into going into a certain area. You have no knowledge of what's going on. Of course, you might run over some people when you're trying to hot pursuit from a police. You know, and I'm not giving them no excuses. The fact is, this brother killed some people. But the thing is, there's a lot behind this brother, not just his so-called long criminal record, but mental issues and whole 9 yards. So just like people are about the Rittenhouse case, how I was before that, I'm going to be the same way about this situation, about this guy. Okay? This guy could be, I don't know. We're going to find out as this case progresses. Of course, in America, you're innocent to proven guilty. I was like that about the Rittenhouse case. I was not going to let the media fool me and shake me like they always do. Facts do matter. Evidence do matter. Evidence do matter. But when you see the judge who's looked like he's covering for and protecting his grandson, and him trying to keep out politicians. And I understand that you don't want no politicians, you don't want no Al Sharpton, but you don't want, you know, but the fact that he said he's not going to have any black preachers coming into this court. Who are you to talk black? Why you had to mention black? Why you had to mention black? There's a difference between a black preacher and a white preacher. If Kyle wanted to have a white preacher into the courthouse, you would have allowed it, wouldn't you, Judge? And for you lefty medias out there talking about, how do you know this judge is a bigot and white supremacist? Certain things you could just know. It's a way they react. It's the vibe that they put off. It's the aura that they send back to you. It's the way. It's the way they demonstrate themselves. I proved this before when it came to other media outlets and other media personalities. It's not only a mindset, it's a systematic way of doing things. It's a, we're here and you're there. It's a, we don't do this, but you do. That's why I don't like the black-brown terminology. I don't like the minority terminology. I don't like that. I don't like the people of color terminology, because white people are not included in people of color, yet white is a color. Just the simple fact that government agencies, from the government all the way down to local agencies, the term people of color is being used in the highest levels of position is a racial and a white supremacist talking point, because it separates whites from everybody else. They're talking the point about a certain community are more vulnerable to this and that and this and that, and you not throw in white communities as being just as vulnerable is another way of separatism and showing that white is supreme. And it's not. What does this have to do with the Kyle Rittenhouse case? Well, I'm about to get into that. Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted of all charges. All charges? Friday, after testifying, he acted in self-defense in deadly Kenosha shooting that became a flashpoint in the debate over guns, vigilantism, and racial injustice in the U.S. Rittenhouse, 18, became a choke-up, fell forward toward the defense table, and then hugged one of his attorneys as he heard a court clerk recite, "Not guilty" 5 times. 5 times not guilty. And Sheriff Deputy whisked him out the back door. Whisked him. He wants to get on with his life, defense attorney Mark Richards said. Well, I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. It's going to be the same situation with the Trayvon Martin case. He's going to go through the same thing Trayvon Martin killer did. Whether it was self-defense or not. How do you say it's self-defense a lot of times when you have a weapon and the other person don't? Do you think that person's going to beat you to death? Or maybe that person's just trying to send you a message to leave me the crap alone? He wishes none of this ever happened, but as he said when he testified, he did not start this. Well, here's the whole point that I see. Now, I know Kenosha is not that far from his house. It's just like me going from Suffolk, Virginia to Gates County in North Carolina. It's right across the state line, not that far. My question is, was that his gun? Who bought the gun? Was that his gun? Was he legal to carry the gun? Number 2, who gave you the decision to go protect people's property without their permission? But I get it, because I think we, as black citizens in America, should have the right to protect our property, should have the right to gun up. And if somebody want to go out there and start attacking our property, we have a right to pick up our guns and protect our property. If somebody go out there and attack our people, we have a right to protect them. When somebody want to attack our wives, women, and children, we have a right to protect them. So I can't hate on him for taking up arms. And understand this, black people, we have to be just as diligent as they are. And some of us are. We have to take our kids to the gun range. We have to teach them how to hold a weapon, how to fire a weapon. We have to teach them about the mini weapons. If they can go out there and get AR-15s and all that kind of stuff, why can't we? You put a picture of a white family with a bunch of guns, it's acceptable in America. First Amendment rights, poster child for First Amendment right. Put black kids in a black family with their guns, it's a problem to America. My point is, Kyle didn't defend his home turf. He decided to go over cross lines, and I know that's being used as a word, and people want to use that as a marking term and things like that, but that does matter. Cross lines does matter when you go in another state. You got to abide by another state rules. Now, if another state rules reinforce his rights to have the gun in that state, then so be it. But the point is, if he can go cross state line with a gun, so can any other child with a weapon who has it licensed or bought the same way he got his gun, the same way black people can get their guns, the same way he went across state line, the same way black people can go across state lines. If you're going to have a Black Lives Matter protest, when black people started to go, here's the part I want to get to. Cal did not kill any black people. And I know some of you said, why are you making this racial? Cal didn't kill anybody black. Well, thank God. Thank God it wasn't a black person trying to get the gun away from Cal or a black person trying to defend themselves. Because it's a kill or be killed situation, because that's what Cal was in, a kill or killer situation. And unfortunately, he got the better. And we don't know the people who he was dealing with. We don't know their lives. All we hear is his story. But we don't know what those three guys and their lifestyles and their mental record and things like that. You know, I think we did get one insight on one person in the crowd trying to start stuff. And another thing, a lot of these Black Lives Matter protests are not put on by the black grassroots movement. A lot of these things are put on by white liberals. And don't think I'm caping for white conservatives, because a lot of times they use that excuse to attack so-called protesters. But a lot of these people get in with the sole purpose of rioting. A lot of these people are not Antifa. A lot of these people are anarchists. I can't even say the word. Anarchy that supports anarchy, the overthrowing of the government, hiding behind Black Lives Matter, hiding behind. But then the right said, well, that's what Black Matters is. It's an anarchy group. The real, true, real deal Black Lives Matter movement is not an organization. It's a grassroots campaign that's not affiliated with companies, that's not affiliated with money, that's not affiliated with politicians or any kind of talking point or narrative. The point of Black Lives Matter, the grassroots movement, is to understand that black lives are just important as white lives. Case in point, Kyle Rittenhouse. Now, I've seen the videos. The boy bit off more than he can chew when he got down there. And he got scared. It's just like Zimmerman bit off more than he chewed. Zimmerman had the gun. Trayvon didn't have a gun. Trayvon had T Skittles. But Trayvon put a whooping on him. And he probably was embarrassed. He probably put out his gun, and Trayvon and him probably wrestled over the gun. Trayvon trying to fight for his life. It's not illegal to walk through a neighborhood. A neighborhood doesn't have a do not trespass sign. Property do, your house do, but a neighborhood don't. It's just like with the Arbery case. See, when a black man defends himself, he automatically look at, there's something wrong, and right. He must have did something. He must have been up to something. He must have got a bad record. He must have been come from a bad family. Blah 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 blah. But a white kid. None of that. Nothing. He's automatically propped up as a hero. But if Trayvon Martin would have got the best of that deal and George Zimmerman died, would he been propped up as a hero? He didn't even have a gun. If Arbery, I can't even say the name right. My mind is going places right now. The Arbery case, if he whooped those three white men behind and defended himself and putting them on their knees and went on about his business, or let's say he shot one or two defending themselves, would he get the same hero accolades? Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk about the many counts that he got off on. Man, I told you before, the whole thing was in cahoots. He was going to get off from the jump start. Just because you got a prosecution don't mean that prosecution is trying to convict that person. You got white supremacists on as a prosecutor And you have white supremacists as defense attorneys, and you have white supremacies in judge. And I heard one person who sometimes I can rock with and sometimes I can't, sitting there talking about, how do you know the judge is a white supremacist? He was appointed by a Democrat. What the hell that got to do with anything? White supremacy play both sides of the fence. White supremacy takes no sides. They're all in one accord. There's just as many as white supremacists in the Democratic Party, and they probably are in the People's Party as any other party. Green Party, you name it. It's probably white supremacists there. As well as the Republican Party. So what the hell they got to do with anything, Dore? I can rock with Dore on some things and I can't. I try to go, when it comes to me and my personal view of other commentators on YouTube, I rock with them on their topics. I'm not trying to be friends of the show. I'm not trying to make them friends of the show. I mean, if they want to come on, great. But that don't make me mean we're going to be buddy-buddy. I can't afford to do that because then my judgment is seared. There was a scripture in the Bible said the people in Nazareth could not receive any kind of miracles from Jesus because they were too familiar with him. They didn't see him as the miracle worker as everybody else outside saw him. They saw him as little Jay. You mean little Jay? You talking about Mary's boy? Get out of here. Me and Jay used to do this. Me and Jay, you talking about he a miracle worker? Man, get out of here. See, that person ain't going to be able to receive nothing. That person ain't going to be able to really take that other person serious. So I'm not going to buddy up because when I need the challenge, I need the challenge. But just cause the man was appointed by a Democrat doesn't mean he's not a bigot, racist, white supremacist judge. Heck, Obama himself, a black man, was putting bigot judges on the stand. Because he ain't nothing but an enabler and a tool of white supremacy himself. No more than these goofball, big teeth looking Republicans doing the same thing too. J.C. Watts, all of them. Kissing more white behind and lifting up more a party than helping their people. Now, my question is, despite the counts, would a black young man, same age as Kyle, having a gun, be able to run as he did, as Kyle did in the video, run toward the police and say, I shot a person. And they pass him in the trucks with the gun. In the army tanks with the gun, that he'll be able to chill with them and have a soda or drink some water with the gun. Would a black man or a black kid be able to do that? Now, you know the answer to that is hell to the no to the no. They would have shot him as soon as he ran down with the gun, say, hey, they would have killed him. So yes, this is a racial issue. It also let people think that, well, if this gives anybody, any militia, any kind of armed forces a right to go into any area and go and battle protesters, even the peaceful ones. Now, don't get me wrong. It seems like every peaceful protest that tries to take place, you're going to have agitators. You can call them Antifa. You can call them anarchists. You can call them Proud Boys acting like Antifa. You got people who will infiltrate from the right just to start stuff so things can pop off. It's called manufacturing consent. Proud Boys president, leader, freaking FBI informant. So even with Kyle Rittenhouse being let off on all counts, do you think a black kid would have been able to get that same? You think that judge would have been protecting that black kid with same fervor and same energy? So that's why I said in this particular case, when people start taking up arms in peaceful protests, because just because you got arms don't mean you can't protest peaceful. People going to start taking up arms just to protect themselves when they go do peaceful protests. The city or the state is going to tell them they can't take up arms, which puts them in a position where they're vulnerable, that now we can have people who call themselves vigilantes, protectors of property, to have a reason to go after and shoot people who may be agitators trying to destroy properties. Now, look, Martin Luther King said rioters are the language of those people who they done talked enough. Now they got to show you. And there's going to come a time when marching ain't going to be enough and people are going to start showing you. It's going to be a revolution. Because talking, you're not listening to people when they're trying to scream at you in your face, we need help. And the black community has been phased out financially because we got other immigrants coming in this country, and a lot of them coming in with a bunch of money already. And they're getting all these perks and all these abilities that Native blacks couldn't get and don't get. And when we tried to get it, they denied us. And when we said, forget you, we'll make on our own, and we tried to, you took that away or burned that down or shut that down or find some way to strangle that away from us. We're getting to the point now. Well, more Martin Luther King is going to go out the door and more Malcolm X is going to start. The beginning teachings of Malcolm X is going to start standing up to root. As soon as Malcolm X picked up a gun, they went nuts. Black Panthers trying to protect themselves, doing the same thing Kyle Rittenhouse do, and they label them terrorist organization. They do that, probably done that to the NFC. Now look, like I said, I've seen the videos. He bit off more than he chewed. There was attacking his behind. They were whooping his behind. They were trying to take the gun. So he got nervous, got scared, and shot a couple people. You know, he has a right to defend himself, but that's not my point. My point is, even if he stayed minutes away from the state line, even though the gun was across state line, as somebody said on their YouTube channel, whether it was across state lines or already, or whether he took across state lines, the fact of the matter is, and what you fail to understand, is it's not equal justice, even though you think justice was done here, Joe Biden. And the rest of you numbnuts, justice was not done in this case. Now you break the word justice is actually mean just us. Because only just us, meaning majority white people, can be able to do what Rittenhouse did. Black kids are not going to get a chance to take their gun, buy a gun, and keep it on the other side of the field where family members at Uncle Joe's house. Uncle Joe got my gun. Me and Uncle Joe go hunting a lot, but I keep my gun there because I can't keep it in my state. So I go to Uncle Joe's, and then Uncle Joe, people start attacking the black community, and I take my gun to protect my community's property. But if that black kid did what Rittenhouse did, that black kid would be dead. Self-defense and all. He could have defended himself, killed two people, killed one, two. He couldn't have killed none. And the moment he started running and say, please help me, they coming after me, please help me, they coming after me. Soon as the cops would have saw that gun, whether it was on his back, whether it was around his waist, whether it was in his shoe, whether it was on top of his head or whatever, as soon as they saw that gun, they would have killed him. If he didn't have a gun, if it looked like something in his hand that resembled a gun, a pack of bubble gum, they would have killed him. And if they didn't kill him, he definitely wouldn't have had a day in court like Kyle Rittenhouse had. That's my point. And too many people in media are able to sit here and embrace as this if this was a good thing, when it's not. It's only good for whiteness. It's not good for blackness. It's not good for blackness. Then Cal goes on, Tucker Carlson. Now Cal's a hero. Would that black kid be a hero? Would that black kid be able to go on Tucker Carlson? Would that black kid be able to do this? Would that black kid be able to point the finger at a presidential or the White House? So I don't care about the politics. I don't care about nothing but the justice. I don't care about what Republicans say or Democrats say. I don't care what the news media, whether it's Fox, Tucker Carlson, or Rachel Maddow or Joy Reid or whatever. I don't give a crap what none of them say. Was it justice? And justice just mean that. Is it something just we get to do and everybody else don't? Well, let's be more specific. Is it something that we get to do and most other people don't? Is it? Would that black kid be able to have the judge so overprotective over him like this white judge did for Kyle Rittenhouse? Would you be able to get a picture, an iconic picture like this with a black kid in the middle of the judge and his defense attorney? Would you? No. Would you be able to get a kid to have a confident look like this? And man, this judge was defending Rittenhouse like that was his own grandchild. I'm not sure it's not. Since they live across state lines, he probably know the family. Since it's right around the corner, he probably know the family. Cal probably could be a church member, cousins of a church family, a friend of his. Who knows? You don't know. I don't know. But that judge was mighty overprotective over Cal. Would he been that way with some black kid who survived an attack from white people in a protest, period, let alone two of them he shot dead protecting themselves? Would that polite kid would be able to have this kind of confidence in court where he could smile? No, that black kid would be terrified of what's going to happen to him. Would that black kid be able to go and to bars underage and pose with one of the most predominant conservative right organization, right to white, whatever you want to call it? But we got black people in our organization. We got LGBTQ. That don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing. Some of the biggest coons are in those types of organizations. Now, I'm not singling nobody out, and I don't know these people, but I know every organization, whether it's on the left, right, whether it's in media, whatever, got their coons kissing up the behind of protecting whiteness and don't work as hard protecting blackness. And look, honestly, we should all be at an even plane. We should be all at an even kill. We should all be at equality. When it comes to wealth equality, now that's a different story, because we built this country right along with white society, but white society is taking much of the power in finances and everything, not because of their brain, it's because of their ability to stifle, to take, to snatch, and even kill to get it, and kill to keep it. You want to catch a black kid chilling with the Proud Boys taking pictures? You wouldn't have got that. They wouldn't have held this black kid as a hero. Or maybe if he was Trump nut hugger, they probably would. And boy, I didn't buy this for 1 minute. That seems so phony, so staged, but that's what all courthouses do. Your point is you need to move sympathy on the jurors. Sympathy on the jurors. You got to move it. You got to get the juror on your side being sympathetic with you. And boy, this boy did his best. And his mama was right there. Now, don't get me wrong. Fearing going to jail, fearing the death penalty, your mom losing her child to the system, it's something to cry about. But usually, black mothers go through this more than anybody. That's because you guys do more crime. That is not proven. FBI has proven that is not true. And this whole situation is a white on white crime. It's a white on white crime. Kyle is right, and those protesters were white. But don't you think that if a black person wasn't in that position, Kyle wouldn't have did nothing to that person too? Then you'd have been saying black on white, or white on black. Or if the black guy would have killed, black kid would have killed some black people, you would have said black on black crime. White on white crime and black on black crime, neither one of them is good. And don't you dare think, well, we got less. The point is, you got it. I still go back to the root of this whole thing. It was a black kid's Kyle age, staying in the same town, who had family members staying right across so-called state line, which is not that far, people. It wasn't that far. So don't fall for that TV narrative that when they was trying to cram you down your throat. It wasn't that far. The point is, he did go across state lines. But I go across state lines all the time, especially when I was living in Virginia. But the thing is, that gun, was it illegal to have in that state? Whether you came across state line or not, was that gun illegal? I mean, it's not like he left 2 states to come, I'm going to just kill some protesters. Like I say, I don't know what's his motive with that. He tried to explain to us. I don't give a crap his motive. The point I got, and the problem I got, is if it was a black kid going through the same situation that Kyle Rittenhouse went through, would he got the same justice? And the answer to that is hell no. And you know it. You know it, TYT. You know it, Jimmy Dore. And I can go on and on and on. You know it. Now, you got to be fair to me. I'm not attacking your media, and I'm not attacking you. When I feel you right, I big you up and I say you were right in this situation. When Tucker Carlson, much as I don't like that racist piece of trash, when he's right, I say he's right. I stopped kissing Bernie Sanders behind a long time ago, but when he does something to say something right, I always applaud the right things people do. And the wrong things, I'm going to call it out. Even Trump, I can't stand Trump. But whenever he do something right, like the stimulus package and all, that was the right thing to do. Him trying to go for a couple thousand versus 1,200, that was the right thing to do. I bigged him up. So when you're right on them, when I feel you're right in the money, I'm going to agree with you. When I feel you off, I'm going to disagree with you, and I'm going to highly disagree with you and tell you what the hell that got to do with it. Yeah, how you know the judge is racist? Bro, you can see how the way he's protecting this kid. You can even tell it on first face that the prosecution, the defense, and the judge are in cahoots together to protect this kid. Seemed like that prosecutor was trying to throw the case. And it looked like he was successful. So, man, it was a point about Democrat. Man, get the out of here with that mess, Dore. That got to do with anything. And yeah, it pissed me off when I heard that. Let me tell you something, man. When it comes to white supremacy, if you don't know nothing about it, just shut the hell up. And most white people don't know nothing about white supremacy. They have a blinders on when it comes to it. A lot of them are white supremacists themselves, and they won't know it until somebody pull out the attributes of a white supremacist, which is so evident. And a lot of times, not even a white supremacist, the attitude of a bigot and a racist is evidence in some people, and they don't even know it. And they try to deny it. I got black friends, blah, blah. I married this black lady. How could I be, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Man, white supremacists and racists and bigots been enjoying the chocolate for centuries. Fantasizing about the chocolate for centuries, just like some blacks was fantasizing about white women, and being some people as slaves. They were fantasizing over white women, but they couldn't fantasize too long. One wrong look, boy, your butt's dead. Heck, Emmett Till, what claimed they claim he whistled at a white woman, which was a lie. He died for no reason. Innocent kid. And they tried to come up with every excuse to paint him out to be a villain. Just like you claim that the left is trying to come up with every excuse to paint Kyle Rittenhouse a villain. It ain't a fact whether you're a villain or not. Was it justice? Because even the bad guy can do good. Even the bad guy can be proven innocent in some cases. It had nothing to do with it. They just wanted to put him back in jail. He had nothing to do with that crime, but they just want to put him back in jail, just maybe to get some information out of him. Who knows? They do it all the time. Oh, he was a good guy. He was a Samaritan. He did this and he did this, that. So was Nino Brown. Let me stop. You realize how many drug dealers done good things for people? You realize there was a lot of nice drug dealers until you cross them and they kill your mind and chop you up in pieces? Being nice ain't got nothing to do with anything. A young boy who beat up a girl to the point that other white people and some black girls had to get in to let them know you ain't gonna be doing that here, son. Get humiliated, got your butt whooped. Usually, time when somebody can't fight, can't defend themselves, they go get a gun. Because that's the only way they can defend themselves. They can't throw these things. They can't throw them bows. And that's the problem with the world today. People just shoot people for the stupidest reasons. In my community, the black community, I've seen people get shot over stepping on somebody's sneakers. I'm not going to sit here and cover up for my community when my community do wrong. Over some sneakers. Back to my original point. This is a racial issue, whether you like it or not. This is highly racial. Now, even though I give him the benefit of the doubt, the boy bit off too much, more than he chewed, was getting his butt whooped, so he had to lean on his gun to defend himself, which he have a right to do if he feels somebody is threatening his life. Now, sometimes you can feel like your life being threatened prematurely. George Zimmerman, you had the gun. Trayvon didn't have one. I can go through the list of people who got killed for no reason at all. Pastor riding down the street and then blow his tire, and all of a sudden he's trying to get some help, and the police see him, and he goes back to his car to get something. They assume he got a gun. Preacher, pastor, just coming from church, praising the Lord, leading his people into service, and they gonna kill the pastor. And you find out in the helicopter, they say that's a pretty dangerous looking guy. See, when it comes to us, we get killed because we look like a danger. But when it comes to somebody like Cal, he don't get killed because he don't look like a danger. He looks so innocent, so sweet. He's sweet little kid. He couldn't have never did nothing like that. He had to be defending himself. He could, but the pastor who signaled for the police to help assist him. Now his car broke down, and he happened to go to the car, and the police assume he's trying to kill him. I feared for my life. No, you just a punk. You just a pussy, a wuss. A biatch. You got mental issues, and you don't need to be on the force. You're too scary. You need to be fearless. Cal was a scared little boy trying to go into a situation that you can't be scared. How do you know you're scared? Man, when them girls whooped his behind, that changed the whole game for Cal. Cal just figured, hey, the only way I can, that's how you get the school shooters. Most school shooters are a bunch of punks. I'm done. Let me get ready, get some rest. Got a lot of stuff to do. This is very much a racial situation. It's not a fair justice situation. It's the just, J-U-S-T, us situation. Only we can have a judge protect us. Only we can have a prosecutor pretty much be so freaking bad that the judge may be tempted to throw the case out, which all this stuff is on purpose. Only us can go across the state line, as they say in media, pick up our gun from my Uncle Joe's house or whatever, go protect property. And if I happen to hurt somebody or harm somebody, and I go try to ask the police for help, only I can have the whole army truck pass me by with my gun, with my AR-15, just pass through as if I'm with them. Only I, just us, can go to the cops, and the cops will stand to protect us versus posturing herself to shoot us. So yeah, it's very racial. It's very racial. Yeah. From the judge all the way down to the prosecutor. From the whole incident that happened that night. White privilege prevailed even when it came to attacking white people. Because the bottom line at the end of the day, if Cal was a black kid, he wouldn't have never made it to court. I'm Bobby Brown with the Bobby Brown Podcast on the go. Like, share, subscribe. If I ever get demonetized or they take my video down, you can always find me at BitChute on the Bob TV NYC. You can also find me at Brand New Tube, where I am doing video content there. I pay every month there, so they're not a bunch of wusses like YouTube. Yeah, I said it. YouTube, you're a bunch of wusses. I will be back on Sundays at 11 live with a particular topic of the day. My format is going to be more topic driven until I can get a real show format going on. I appreciate you. If you want to support the stream, you can support through the PayPal information, which is up at top. You can find me on these particular platforms on the Bob TV NYC. And hey, appreciate you. I love you. And I'll holler at you later. Peace.